Respected brothers and sisters, hope you're all well. I hope your fast was good and you enjoyed your fast today and you had good iftari. It's funny because usually I do bayan in the daytime when you've not eaten and you're a lot more energetic. And the funny thing is when you come eaten, although we've had tarawih now, it's not the same. You don't have the same buzz and energy in you. But I'm going to try my very best, inshallah ta'ala, that we can try to do the bayan in the best way possible, that I benefit, you benefit, we all benefit, inshallah. And make dua, Allah give me ikhlas in what I'm doing, sincerity, and I hope I can relate all the points. Now marriage is such a thing we can take an absolute age doing it, but we're going to try to cover quite a few things today, inshallah, brothers and sisters. So it's 30 minutes past midnight, and we've got a break at 1:30. So anyway, let's start without wasting time. Brothers and sisters, I did talk about earlier last week is about leading up to the marriage, what boys should look at, what girls should look at. In a nutshell, all I want to say is two things over here. I would request my sisters over here that when you decide to choose a boy, and when you decide that you want to get married to some bloke, everything okay, confirmation, it's been working. Thumbs up again from the technical team. Jazakallah khairan. Okay, when you decide to get married to some guy, you look for the deen. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says look for deen, look for piety, which is the more, and this is the same message which goes out from a boy, that when you decide to get married, look for piety inside a girl. Why? Because ad-dunya kulluha mata' وَخَيْرُ مَتَاعِ الدُّنْيَا الْمَرْأَةُ الصَّالِحَةُ. The best ni'mat you can get in the world is a pious woman. So this is the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, and you can't be fussy. If you want to, guys, find a girl who is the perfect girl, and you want, when I mean perfect, you're never gonna find a girl who is exactly the way you want her, from top to toe. You know, this is the way she's got to look. This is the way her personality should be. This is the way her beauty should be. This is her family. This is her background. This is the money. It's never gonna happen. So my brothers, oh, her nose is a bit too long. Her eyes a bit too small. Oh, she's like that and she's like that. Forget it. You're never going to find it. So when you find somebody in deen wise and somebody who are attractive to you and you're attracted to them, say Bismillah and go for it. Okay, and likewise for the sisters as well. If you want to look for some hunk and some chunk, it's not going to happen all the time. If you want some guy who's really, big muscles with a small t-shirt on, well, that's the way some guys will impress themselves. Have you seen these guys who just walk around in the streets, right? And they walk around, you got this really, and you think, lahara muscle. Okay, they might have good muscles on them, but sometimes they have tight small t-shirts. And I know one particular friend of mine, I won't mention his name, he always wears his son's t-shirt, and you think, wow, he's got big muscles. Anyway, but that's not, the point is, you don't want somebody just with big muscle. You want somebody who's got deen inside you. And you can't get fussy sisters as well. Oh, this guy's too short, and this guy's too tall, and this guy's like this, and his stomach's too big, he's got an 8-pack, he's got a 10-pack, or he's got, you got to completely pack it in. And you got to go for somebody decent, somebody who will care for you, somebody who will love you, somebody who will take care of you and give you muhabbat and give you a happy and a wonderful, wonderful life. This is what you got to go in. So this is advice for the boy and the girl. Advice to the parents on here. When your son or daughter, now before there was a time it was mainly arranged marriage. Today we still get arranged marriage, and that's brilliant. Sometimes your son and daughter might come up to you and say, Mom, Dad, I found somebody who is appropriate for me. So when do you see this person, don't just rule it out, no. Get to know this person, family, and if it's the right person, if it's the right girl for your son, say Bismillah and go for it. Especially if they're deen-wise and you think it'll be well, great. If you think that, no, it's not, then tell them, advise them nicely. And brothers and sisters, the young boys and girls who are not married, when your parents give you mashwara, try to understand their mashwara as well. I know sometimes the parents give you the most wonderful mashwara, and sometimes short term we don't understand it. We think, wow, what's my mom and dad telling me? It doesn't make sense to me. No, they're saying it because they know it's the best thing for you. Some parents go the other way, other extreme. They're just very ziddi. Some parents are very ziddi and very arrogant as well, and they'll say, no, you can't get married, and there's no particular reason. There is no particular reason. Example, you have the Gujarati thing, you have the Pakistani thing, you have the Bangladeshi thing, you have the Surati Baruchi thing, or because the Suratis may be more superior than Baruchis, or Baruchis might be more superior than Baruchis, and then Suratis, Pakistanis and Bangladeshis. Now I can understand it's a massive culture difference in certain places, because you need similarities in a marriage to make a marriage work as well. You can't have somebody from the North Pole getting married to somebody from the South Pole. It doesn't work. But you need similarities. So what I'm saying, if there's something in common in between them, and there's nothing really a major issue, then parents shouldn't be ziddi. They should let them get married as long as they're happy with each other. And this is the most important thing. And lastly, what I would like to say to my brothers and sisters is, if for whatever reason your parents say no to you, if your parents say no to you, then what you should do is try not to run away. I hate the fact that people run away from home. The amount of grief that parents have to go through because of their kids running away from home. Please, 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 try not to run away from home. That's not the best way to do it. Go to somebody elder, go to the Imam Sahib, go to somebody and try to speak to them, and that's the way you go about getting married, inshaAllah ta'ala. So these are my first points prior to marriage. My other points are, brothers, sisters, regarding... We start with a few tips for our parents. These are a few tips for our parents. Now, example, the girls reach 21, 22, 23 years of age, and she's time to get married. Now, the question is, the mother needs to know, my daughter, she's going to go into somebody's house. Does she even know how to cook? Does she even know how to, make a roti? And you might think, Maulana, why are you being fussy? I'm not being fussy. So your daughter goes into somebody's house, she's got a husband, right? She's going to live with him. She needs to cook food. And if she's not going to cook food, and this is the mother's responsibility to educate the children how to make roti, right? How to make it, how to cook it, how to cook food. So when she gets married, okay, when she does khidmat of her husband, then she can provide him with food. Now, if she comes in the house and she goes, I don't know how to cook, and husband and wife are living together, you tell me it's going to create problems from day one. So every mother, and this is mother's responsibility, you need to educate your daughter on how to cook food, so when she moves into her new home, she can provide and look after her husband. This is very, very important. This is very, very important indeed. Okay, because if girls have this attitude, you know what, it's not our responsibility, we don't have to cook, then you know what, you might as well not get married, because you know what, the marriage is not going to work from day one. You've got a very ajib attitude that, you know what, it's not my duty, it's not my responsibility, I don't have to cook. Yes, now and then don't cook, eat from takeaways, eat from restaurants, etc., etc. But to have this attitude, it's not the right of a woman, and it's the way does it say in Islam, you don't have to cook, then you know what, sister, you might as well stay at home and not get married at all, because if you get married to somebody, you're going to go into somebody's house, you're just going to cause them more and more distress. Okay, one day the guy will say, don't worry, don't cook. 2 days the guy will say, don't cook. 1 week they'll say, okay. 2 months they'll say, give it a chance, and after still 2 months you're still sitting on the sofa and you're still laid back and they have this attitude, I ain't going to cook, then you know what, eventually your husband's going to make a meal of it and he's going to tell you to say, go home. Pardon the pun. So it's simple. This is the mother's responsibility. Okay. Also learn about how your daughter, when she goes into somebody's house, she's now part of another family as well. She's got to somehow learn to mix with the family, get on with the family, with her in-laws as well. And I'm going to come to in-laws later on. But here, these are a couple of points that the mother, she needs to educate the children, her son as well, daughter especially, about, beta, you're going to go into somebody's house, this is the way you have to go, and you have to learn, and you have to adapt. Okay? We come now to the wedding day, and the razzmatazz, and all the musty before the wedding. Now, this is the ajib thing. This is really ajib. The ajib thing which is happening these days in wedding. Now, I haven't got a problem if somebody wants to feed 1 week before the wedding. Seriously. If Allah's given you the capacity, Allah's given you the wealth, without any pressure, without any tension, if you want to feed the whole world, feel free to feed the whole world, okay? But however, do not disturb your neighbors. You've got a house, you've got neighbors in the street as well, and you've got music going in your house, and you're blasting it full whack. And the ajib thing is, then you get mixing of the sexes, the men and the women, mixing of the genders, men and women. You're getting together, it's causing chaos. You're giving taklif to your neighbors. And the worst thing about our people, honestly, and I hate to say this, it's not just for weddings, generally parking their cars. When they go to weddings, they park their car somebody's driveway. You go to the masjid, you have to make announcement in the masjid, brothers, please can you park your car straight. And I've said this afternoon, it's now our attitude in life. You tell somebody who's parked the car incorrectly, brother, could you park your car properly? You know what they do? They'll stick a finger up at you, still 2 fingers at you, or they'll tell you where to go. This is the people's attitude today. So people come to weddings, people come to masjid, because we're on weddings over here, they come to the house, park your car properly. You go to somebody's wedding, park your car properly, park a little distance away, walk a bit to the house if you have to, but don't block other people's driveway. And then when we're told, we get very upset. We get very upset. Point number 1. Point number 2, come the wedding day or the night before the wedding day, all the sisters get together. What are we doing? Put your burqas on, everybody. Put your scarves on. Why? Talim time. Okay, talim time. So they all sit together and talim is done. And all the women are really serious, yeah? And they sit down. Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, wa qala ta'ala, Allah ta'ala said this. And after half an hour time is finished, okay ladies, scarves off, it's time to dance. And everybody goes from talim mode into dance mode. Allahu Akbar. That is absolutely taking the Michael. That is taking a rip. You know, how can somebody, half an hour ago, they were all saying, Qala Allah wa Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then half an hour later, it's chuck your scarves onto one side, put the burqas onto one side. What time? It's now disco divana time. And everybody goes mental. Allahu Akbar, this is mockery. You know what? You might as well not do talim, sisters, in the house. Right? Think what you're doing. You are absolutely taking the rip. You're taking the mick by doing these such actions. You know, you want to do talim, you learn in the talim that this is the what Nabi Sallallahu used to do, this is what Allah has told us to do, then go about it. Don't just then go by your own way and then start dancing. And in our communities now, and I've said this in my Jummah Bayans in Masjid al-Bukhari many a times, there was a time where you used to have, you know, a simple wedding when a few photos used to be, I'm not justifying photos, I'm just telling you what what used to happen. There used to be a few photos. There used to be a video camera, and they used to put Muhammad Rafi's song in the background, some song about a girl going home or something like that, and everybody used to cry. And that used to be the scene in the wedding hall. Simple as that. I'm not saying that's right, but that's the way it used to be. Now, you got rappers coming down. Now, you got pop groups coming down. Now, you got DJs coming down. And let's go. And it's going full blast. You know, and subhanallah sharam, you got belly dancers coming. Right, you got belly dancing, Muslim weddings, you got fireworks, you got the full works happening, you got you got all the gunas happening. And I was just talking to Maulana today, and he said to me, and I'm just discussing generally, that it's Allah's, you know, today people of Leicester understand this, that it's the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's the dua of Rasulullah that we are still intact, that we haven't been punished by Allah Ta'ala after all the gunas we have done. Secondly, we have great ulamas and scholars in our city of Leicester, Maulana Adam Sahib, Maulana Salim Sahib, Maulana Tarapuri Sahib, Maulana Dawood Sahib, and the young ulama ikram, that because of their buzrugiyat, Allah Ta'ala, you know, because of their qurbani, because of their status, Allah is holding us together. But brothers and sisters, the way we're doing gunas, the music in the wedding, the dancing in the wedding, and the other thing is, men and women who are now mahram to each other, they'll dance. Then on the night of the mendi, the girl will put the mendi on, and as somebody was telling me, this is new trend, the lady will do the mendi, and then she sits in a little chair sort of thing, and then guys will come in the room and lift that chair up. What? I found that really ajib. I found somebody just told me that today. And they're proud of it, and they YouTube it, and they film it, and they Facebook it, and they tweet it. The wedding photos, the Facebook, and the wedding photos on the Facebook it. Where is the sharam gone? Where is the haya gone? Where is the akal man? Where is the akal? Where is that common sense gone, brothers and sisters? What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, ask yourself this question first. Who are you for 1 second? Are you the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Are you the people who say we love Allah? And are we the people who say we love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Or are we just by mouth and we just say, yeah, we're followers, but we don't give two monkeys about the ways of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? That's exactly what we're doing. You know, our weddings are worse than the people who don't believe in Allah. They don't even spend the way we spend. Then the wastage of money, the wastage of the things we do, the things we come up with, the things we do. The Be'sharami, the men and women on the stage, they all get together, boys and girls, young boys, young girls. Oh, we're only friends, Uncle G. Well, forget Uncle G if you're friends. This thing, friends, when did that become permissible? There was a time, you know what, when we were in madrasa kids, I remember once I was going to Jaimas when I was studying as a little kid, and this girl came up to me. No, she didn't ask for the date of the roof. She asked me, excuse me, do you know what the time is? You know, when she asked me what the time is, I looked around 10 times first. If somebody sees me, or my mom and dad finds out that I'm talking to a girl, I'm going to be dead meat. You are so scared of your parents. But today, you know, subhanallah, you know, this Be'sharmi on stage, this Be'sharmi, there's no haya. Oh, we're just friends. But you cannot be friends. Islam doesn't give you that it doesn't give you the permission just to become friends and just to stand together and give a kiss on the cheek to each other because it's your friend's wedding. Mothers and sisters, think about for 1 second, who are we? Who are we? We are the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we're going so low. And then these weddings and our amals are presented to our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Can you imagine the pain our Rasul feels can you imagine the pain our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And you know, our names are Muhammad, and our names are Yusuf, and our names are Khalil, our names are Fatima, our names are Zainab, our names are Aisha and Khadija. And when our Rasul sees our faces and our deeds, can you imagine the pain Rasul feels? So brothers and sisters, about all these nakra, the thing, in a nutshell, we do everything to please people, but we forget that we have to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What will dad say? What will mother say? What will brother say? What will sister say? What will all the people say? That's what we think about. That's what we think about. But when it comes to Allah, forget Allah. Allah bo Ghafurur Rahim che. Allah ta'ala bo. You know, think about it from the day the Mendi starts. All the masti leading up to the week. All the khurafat. All the dancing. All the music. All that fake talim. And then the disco diwana which comes afterwards. You tell me. And I'm asking you, brothers and sisters, for 1 second over here. And I'm asking those people who call themselves Dindar and pious as well, because on the weddings day, their dindari and their piety seems to go out the window, to be quite honest. A lot of people first have namazis, they'll do everything, but when it comes on a wedding day, piety out the window, taqwa out the window, you know, everything goes out the window. It's only my daughter's wedding, my son's wedding, first wedding, last wedding, this wedding, that wedding. So what that means, that you can break Allah Ta'ala's commands as much as you want, knock Allah Ta'ala's commands everywhere, knock Rasulullah's commands everywhere. On so many weddings that you think about it, brothers and sisters, how many other people's namaz go on a wedding day? On a wedding day, how many people's namaz go on a wedding day? Loads of namazes go on a wedding day. Absolutely loads of namazes go on a wedding day. So you tell me, when we start off the wedding, the nikah's just been done, or prior to the nikah, the same day, there's so much khurafat and so much guna involved in this marriage. Then the question I want to put to you, my brothers and sisters, is this: do you think there's going to be barakat in this marriage when from day one there is so many gunas to displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So many gunas. Then we come to the wedding hall. You know, I advise brothers and sisters, you spend first of all, I want to put my hands up and say sorry. Last year I made an intention to open some kind of, make an arrangement where boys and girls who do get married, to give them advice prior to marriage, to give them advice. Honestly, I have been so busy at Rahman Masjid this year, I have not had the opportunity, but make dua, brothers and sisters. I want to open this sort of center or place where I can, because we spend tens, thousands of pounds, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds on weddings, and you know what? The guy doesn't even know how to do the guy doesn't know how to do the dua on the first night. The sister doesn't know how to do on the first night. They look at each other, I love you, you love me, and they don't even know the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They don't even know the dua of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, as parents, where's our responsibility gone? You spend thousands, can't you spend half an hour, 1 hour, take them somewhere and tell them, beta, this is the way you live a marriage. These are duas of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are duas which should build barakat in your life and your marriage. And then, my sisters, so I make intention, inshallah, this year I want to set up this like a place where we can help people and give them advice on how to live a married life, inshallah ta'ala. Then there comes the day of the wedding day. Nikah is done, everybody comes Junaid Baghdadi with the jabbas on. Then after the nikah is finished, they have a different outfit. Okay, fair enough, whatever you want to wear, that's up to you. That's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But all I can say, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Man tashabbaha biqawmin fahuwa minhum. Whoever you imitate Allah, you'll be raised with those people on the day of Qiyamah. So I advise people, when you spend your thousands, can you just make it 2 separate halls if possible? 1 hall for men, 1 hall for... That's the ideal situation. If you can't, because not everybody's got the means to do so, at least 2 entrances, or making such a way there's a proper parda system, men onto one side, women onto one side. Now, example, if there's somebody religious who wants to go to a wedding, you know what they say? Sisters, we've provided you good facilities, we'll dump you in one corner of the hall, behind some parda, and you can eat there nicely. You know what, personally, if people say to me, Maulana, don't worry, you can eat in the kitchen, I said, forget that, I don't need to come to this wedding. Seriously, previously, over the years as well, people have got upset with me. Why don't you come to even in family? I've told him, sorry, straightforward. I have usul, I have principles. If you're gonna have a mixed wedding, I ain't coming. Simple as that. Then they get upset. Oh, why don't you come? We're family. It's not about family. It's about pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here. So what do they do with the pious so-called dindar people or people who kick up a fuss? So it's a pain for them already. They have to provide separate facilities for them, and then you have to dump them in one corner of the hall behind the parda and say, here, eat over here. Like seeing some kind of little filth in there, eat in that corner over there, and don't make sure you don't come out of there. So brothers and sisters, Seriously, I'd rather not. And then when you don't come to the weddings, if some lady in Purdah doesn't go to a wedding, and some brother who decides that this wedding is not suitable because of the mixing and the filming and everything that goes on, then people get upset. Oh, you didn't come to my son's wedding. Oh, you didn't come to my daughter's wedding. Brothers and sisters, and just about going to people's wedding, I want to mention one more point before we take a commercial break, is that about going to a wedding, if somebody calls you to a wedding, right, alhamdulillah. And if somebody doesn't call you to a wedding, alhamdulillah. Some people, look, example, some people make a list of all the people who they're going to invite, and sometimes genuinely they forget somebody's name. So they did, example, Abdulaziz's Bhai didn't call me to his son's wedding, example, right? He called the whole world but didn't call me. I found out afterwards. This is the mentality. Bhai, Abdulaziz Bhai, we're small people and you're big people. And I don't mean in that way he's big people. I'm just talking generally over here. I'm small. You forget small people like us. Why is it that our mentality is that we get so upset if nobody calls us for the wedding? Alhamdulillah, fine. Nobody calls us, alhamdulillah. They call us, alhamdulillah. Don't get upset. Think about it, you save 25 quid, man. In fact, you save 100 quid. You have to buy your wife a good dress to go to the wedding. You have to wear a good jabban, you have to go to the wedding. And then you have to give Mr. Moti's son around £50 on his wedding day as well. So you've saved £150, so thank Allah Ta'ala. But that's the joke that's the joke. But what I'm saying, don't get upset if nobody calls you to the wedding. And just because we call somebody, so example, Mr. Moti calls me for his son's wedding, but when my daughter gets married, I don't call him, then for him to say to me, oh Maulana, you didn't call me and I called you, that's wrong as well. Somebody calls us, we're not calling them because we want them to call us. They call us, alhamdulillah. They don't call us, alhamdulillah. Going back to the wedding day again, I want to say that, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, that on the wedding day we spend thousands and thousands of pounds. Is it really important to spend so much money on that day? I say no. In fact, that money, you can make your wedding simple, okay, and you can give that money to your son and daughter to spend on the house, and spend on the things they want to buy. They can spend on the honeymoon, whatever they want, no problem at all. Also, call according to your capacity. Now, example, I can afford 200 people. You can afford 500 people, someone can afford 1,000 people. So according to your capacity, call that many people. Don't some people go so far, bichara, they take debts from people, they take qarza from people, they borrow money from people, because they go to call and the pressure's on. Because the son wants this, the daughter wants that, they want a horse, carriage these days, they want a Lamborghini, they want a Porsche, they want a limo, they want this, they want that, they want a horse. So you don't have to do all these nakras on a wedding day, brothers and sisters. Save that money. Don't put pressure on kids. Don't put pressure on your parents that, Dad, I want this, and Dad, I'm your first daughter and I'm your last daughter, I'm your middle son or middle daughter, whatever. Take it easy and go according to your capacity. Whatever Allah's given you, you can afford 50, call 50, 100, 1,000, according to what Allah is easy for you. And please, try to please Allah, not the people. Because, example, on the wedding day, you make biryani, lamb biryani, delicious. Some people say, Molsab, Turks, they'll eat 5 plates of biryani, they'll say it's a bit salty, or it's a bit spicy, and you know what, there wasn't enough meat in it. There wasn't enough. And some our people in weddings, when they're so ungrateful. It's free of charge first, right? It's free of charge, right? They come and they're so ungrateful. They'll absolutely mashallah, and after they go, they'll burp mashallah nicely, right? And they'll take around 10 packets of sweets from the paper, just from the table as well, put it in the pocket for the kids and for the grandchildren as well. And then they'll go home and they'll complain. All right, to do give to Sadima, how was it? First class. But you know what? The food wasn't good enough. The chicken was a bit, it wasn't right. It wasn't cooked properly. But how many chickens did you eat? You had the whole chicken yourself. So ajib, people don't complain. Be grateful, show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And don't need to go fast taking debts, because even if you spend £1 million, somebody at the end will say, this wedding, there was this problem with it. So no matter what you try to do to please people, it's not going to work at all. It's not going to work at all. Alright, wedding day is over. Prior to the wedding's over, here comes the wedding, life after wedding. Have you taught your son and daughter the du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when they meet for the very first time? Okay, what du'as to read? Teach them. There's a kitab called Ashraf's Blessings. Ashraf's Blessings. I advise every brother or sister who's going to get married, try to pick up these kitabs if you can. Go to our Islamic bookshops, pick it up. Fantastic kitab. It tells you from day 1 till day 100 how to live your married life, inshallah ta'ala. It's a fantastic kitab from the basic du'as. And some people are absolutely clueless. Okay. Point number 2, when the husband and wife get married, there should be some kind of sharam and haya inside them, right? You don't need to tell them what goes in your bedroom secrets, your private life. You don't have to tell your mates, oh, you know what, yesterday it was really yeah, come on, grow up a little bit, use akal, common sense. Oh, and you put it on Facebook, oh, married life is great, or something like that. Brothers, use a bit of common sense. Sisters, this is something sharam. This is personal. This is your private life, and you have to put it on Facebook, or you have to tweet it, or you have to tell the whole world about what you do. Your bedroom secrets stay your bedroom secrets. What goes on in your private life stays in your private life. You don't need to tell the whole world about what you do. So, brothers and sisters, show some sharam and haya inside your life. I think it's really very, very low. It's very, very low when people talk about the personal life and the private life to other people. Point number 1. When the girl comes into a house, my point which I make to all, now these points are written, some refer to the boy, some refer to the girl, some to the father-in-law, some to the mother-in-law, some to the daughter-in-law. It refers different points, and I'm not favouring anyone at all in this bayan at all. I have just written points down which I think will benefit everybody, inshallah ta'ala. When the girl comes into a house, I advise all our brothers and sisters is give the girl time to settle down in her house. Example, our daughters, she's been married, she's lived in a house 19, 20, 21, 22 years. She goes into somebody's house. Now you can't expect her to adapt to the different lifestyles straight away. Give her a time, give her an opportunity to get used to your way. Don't just, have a go at her. And everybody's daughter, my daughter goes to somebody's house, I want my daughter to be treated like a princess. I would want my daughter to be treated like a queen. So with your daughter, this is somebody else's daughter in your house, she treat her like a princess, treat her like a queen, and give her, and that's the way muhabbat will grow in the house and increase. If we're from the day one down her throat and telling her what to do, this is the way you do it, didn't you? And the one thing I think which is very inappropriate, didn't your mum teach you any manners? Didn't your dad? Who are you? How dare you say to her, didn't your mum teach you any manners? And your dad didn't teach you. You have no right to say that to her. Give her a chance, give her an opportunity. If he doesn't if he doesn't improve, then tell her nicely, tell her with muhabbat. This is very, very important. Point number 1. Point number 2 is different habits. She's got different habits. Guy, brother, you've got different habits. Now, there's going to be a clash of personality sometimes, clash in habits. Again, give each other an opportunity, a chance, and get used to each other, get to know each other. I'll give you an example. This is absolutely crazy story. A friend of mine told me, this is outside Leicester, and thank goodness it's outside Leicester, to be honest. One town, one city in the UK, girl got married, first day or second day, she moved into the house, and in her bedroom, she didn't have hangers to hang her clothes. There were no hangers there. So she thought, I'll go into my sister-in-law's room. This is so crazy, honestly. She goes in the sister-in-law and she wants a couple of hangers. So the sister-in-law goes to her, what are you doing? She said, I just want some hangers. She wanted to hang her clothes, or she wanted to hang her husband's clothes. I don't remember it now. So the sister-in-law goes, no, you can't. Did you ask permission? How dare you take hangers? And how dare you take... So petty. So petty. So because of the sister-in-law saying this to her, she said, pardon the pun, I'm not going to hang around in this marriage, right? I'm not going to hang around in this marriage. And off she went. Now, that is very naive on her part to leave the marriage, and that's very naive on the sister-in-law's part to nag her and tell her how you... And then the marriage ended. The brother told me the marriage actually ended over a hanger. Over a couple of hangers. This is pathetic. Point number 4, sorry. Not to sleep over an argument. Husband and wife. Now, you go to... Many people think that husband and wife should be romance, lovey-dovey all the time. It doesn't work like that. You go to a Nabi's house, you go to a Wali's house, you go to a Sahabi's house, you go to a Tabi'i's house, you go to a Maulana's house, you go to a Haji's house, or you go to a Gunda's house, or you go to a normal guy's house. In every household in the world, the only difference is some women are Asian, some women are African, some women are European, some women are from different parts of the world, but a woman might be in different color, different race, different background, but at the end of the day, a woman is a woman, no matter what. The difference is maybe only in the color. Now, in every single household, there will always be a few issues now and then. Disagreements in the household. Sometimes it's the man's fault, sometimes it's the woman's fault. There is a simple word called sorry. There's a simple word called sorry. To say, I'm sorry, let's move on. Honestly, and I tell you one thing, advice, blokes, a really good bit of advice to you. You can never win against a woman. End of story. I have friends like Abdullah Motus tell me on this for the rest of the whole life that he's never won, and I agree with him. And he's still suffering. And Allah make it easy for him. I'm only joking on that bit, but it's probably going to kill me afterwards. But what I'm going to say, simple, to cut an argument short. You know what? Sometimes you have a whole debate with your wife, and you say, nah, it's your fault. And in the end, you have, you know what? Just say sorry. Just get on with it. Forgive and forget. Forgive and forget, and learn to move on in life. Very, very important. If we're going to keep a grudge over every small thing we do, and you know what? Our marriage will never work. Honestly, it will never work. You'll have your good days, you have your bad days. You've had an argument with your wife, and you're driving to work the next day, and you see a couple walking down the street, holding hand in hand, and you're thinking, look at this couple, so happy, so lucky, and look at my life, such a rubbish life, such a despair, such sadness, my wife's giving me no happiness. And this is ajib. When you have one argument with your wife, shaitan brings back the whole life of sadness. He'll make you forget all the good days your wife gave you, all the good food she gave you, the children she gave you, the hard work she did for you. It'll always bring all the negatives. And then when you see somebody else smiling and beaming and laughing, you look at them and you think to yourself, right? That's not the case. Every couple goes through good days, every couple goes through bad days. So what I'm saying, folks, brothers especially, learn the word S-O-R-R-Y, say it, and you know what? Your life will be good, inshallah ta'ala. Also, brothers, it's still not good. Okay, Mr. Moti says, right. The other thing is, brothers and sisters, say nice words to each other. Say nice words to each other. Sometimes say to your wife, mashallah, you're looking nurani, or you're looking so beautiful, mashallah, you're looking so nice, you're looking so gorgeous. It's because it's ajib. When you go to work, when you go to in your workplace, when you see someone a lady working there, you say, hello, love. You say this, hello, love. You say, hello, darling. You say, hello, sweetheart. So every other woman outside the house is sweetheart and darling. And this is absolutely true, right? Every woman outside the house, you go to the hospital and she gives you injection. Oh, thank you, love, for the injection. Oh, thank you, darling, for the injection. Thank you, sweetheart. So you go on a plane, stewardess there giving you food. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Right now, the question is, I want to put, when is the last time you said to your wife when she gave you food, Jazakallah khair, sweetheart? Here's a question to all the men out there, right? When's the last time you said to your wife, Jazakallah love, or Jazakallah darling, or Jazakallah sweetheart? But you say to this is ajib. In your workplace, everybody's a darling. In the plane, everybody's a sweetheart. At this hospital you go, this is a few examples that come into mind. Wherever you go, everybody's a sweetheart, darling, and a love. But your wife, at home, what have you cooked today? Is this the way you cook food today? Brothers and friends, learn to be good to each other. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one day he was coming home and he saw Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, and she was drinking from a cup or a glass. And from a distance, her name was Aisha, but he called the name he gave her for beloved and Muhammad was Humaira. And he goes, oh, Humaira. She goes, yes, ya Rasulullah, don't drink everything what you're drinking, save me a bit. So Rasulullah came, and he goes, oh, Humaira, where were you drinking from? She goes, ya Rasulullah. She gave him the glass or the cup, and Rasul said, oh, Aisha, where did you put your lips? Where were you drinking from? Where were you drinking from? So she said, yes, I was drinking from this particular place. So Rasul put his lips exactly in the same place where she had put it, and he drank from there. Now this is muhabbat. He called her a nice name. So what you should first, from this hadith, I want to say two things. Say nice things here. I was with a friend of mine recently, and his wife called him, and I looked on his phone, it was written Queen, and I said, Alhamdulillah, somebody calls his wife Queen, which is very, very nice, mashallah. And maybe you can tell us your thoughts after what you call your wife, but as long as they're good names. I don't want to hear all the rotten names. But brothers, call your wife good names, with muhabbat and piyar. And the idea of marriage is not a 1 month or a 2 month or a 1 year thing. It's meant to be a lifetime thing. I mean, somebody calls their wife Lady Gaga. I mean, that's not going to be a very good thing, is it? It's a terrible thing. So you got to call your wife a good name, right? You got to call her a nice thing. So call her an Islamic name. You call her something nice. You call her something decent. You call her princess. You call her whatever, but make it something nice. Second thing, look at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's sharing with her. How many of us feed our wives? It'd be so nice if you can put a lukma in our wife's mouth, or if a wife could put a lukma in our mouth. It works two ways. It makes two to make the marriage work. You can't have the guy making all the effort, and you can't have the the lady to making the effort, right? You've got to. It's a two-way thing. it's a two-way thing. It's a two-way thing. You both have to make an effort to make the marriage work. Mr. Moti has been naughty in the studio now. So he makes two of us, he makes two people. And then Nabi Sallallahu on one occasion, Nabi Sallallahu said to Aisha, let's have a race. Let's have a race. So Rasul had a race. On the first occasion, Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha won. On the second occasion, Rasulullah sallallahu won. I mean, this is Muhammad. I'm not saying you go down Spinney Hill Park tomorrow and you go to Vicky Park or Abbey Park tomorrow and say, right, 1, 2, 3, go. But what I'm saying, this shows that Nabi Sallallahu used to spend quality time with his wife. Spend time, muhabbat, love. This is very, very crucial to make marriage work. If things are going wrong, if things are not working out in the marriage and things are not going, don't bottle it up. Sometimes brothers bottle it up, sometimes sisters bottle it up, and it's not right. And then over time it comes out and it spills out in the wrong way. It spills out in the wrong way. So brothers, sisters, don't bottle it up. If you have concerns, speak to your husband, speak to your wife, and try to sort the problem out properly. My goodness, it's already 5 to 1. I'm not even started yet. Honestly, I have not even started yet. Anyway, let's go on. Respect. This next point could take another half an hour itself. It's about respect for in-laws and parents. When somebody gets married, especially for the son of here, just because you're married now doesn't mean you forget your parents. And for the parents, advice for them is this: when your son is married now, he has an additional responsibility, his wife. So before marriage, he used to spend a lot more time with you at your home, but now parents need to understand, and Madhum Abdul Rahman, I know I used to say this a lot, that parents need to understand this love the son used to give his mother before. Obviously he can't give the same love to his mother now because he's got a wife in his house. Alright, it's straightforward. It's straightforward. But that also doesn't mean that the son forgets his parents completely because he's got a wife in the house. He completely blanks his parents. That is not right. That is not right. That is not right at all. Now, the other thing about parents is that when you get married, some people live separately, and I think that's brilliant today. If you have means, then I think living separately is the best thing that can happen today. Why? It saves. And I'm not people who live with the in-laws, I'm not saying you should move out. Good luck to you, and may Allah give you barakat in wherever you're staying. But it saves so much hassle and so much taklif. You hear so many mother-in-law and daughter-in-laws cases, and there's so much bitterness between them. It's so much hatred between them. Allah forgive, Allah forgive, Allah forgive. So when a young couple get married, now they're young, you gotta remember, they're lovebirds, right? They want to spend time together, they want to spend, enjoy the moments together. So example, I was outside Leicester once, and somebody goes, there was this one couple who goes staying with the in-laws, and obviously, husband and wife, they need to use the bathroom, they spend quality time together, but the problem is they're living with the in-laws in the house. So in the middle of the night, if the daughter-in-law goes to visit the bathroom, she goes to her, what are you doing in the middle of the night going to the bathroom? Now what do you expect the poor soul to say? It's common sense, honestly. When I heard this story, I couldn't stop laughing. I thought to myself, please, come on, use your akal. Where the mother-in-law, think for a second. Your son and daughter, your son or your daughter-in-law, and they're spending time together. They have taqazaf, they have desires, they're insan. Allah's made us insan. Allah's made us insan. We're not farishta, we don't have desires, we don't have feelings, and we don't have love for each other. But come on, you got to use a bit of akal yourself. That's what I say. I think in an ideal world, it's best if the couple live separate. I think about this story, it makes me laugh all the time. Oh dear. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Anyway, moving on. So, parents, in-laws have to give the young couple a bit of time to bond, okay, understand each other, get to know each other, and if they've seen or they've been already lovey-dovey, be happy for them. And you know what the worst bit is, Sheikh, and you'll agree with me, and people listening out there, you know what, when the husband and wife are getting on so well, you know what people say? Ato baidi waro thegyo. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Baidi waro thegyo, this meaning that this guy had, he's become his wife's slave, in other words, in short, in English. Just because he's spending good time with his wife, just having good times together, he's baidi waro thegyo. It's the Asian mentality. I said earlier, if you dump your parents onto one side and you forget your parents, then you say it makes sense that baidi waro thegyo. However, he looks after his parents, he's also caring after his wife, and they're having great days together, and then to say abaidi wala take. So example, you buy your wife a bunch of flowers, right? Now the mother says, Dikra, you are my son for 25 years. You never bought me a bunch of flowers. Your muhabbat with your mum is in a different way. Your muhabbat with your wife is in a different way. If you buy your wife perfume and the mother-in-law goes, Dikra, you never bought me perfume before. come on, common sense, man. Your mother, you buy, you give your mother different gifts, different hajjas, different way of showing your muhabbat with your mother. You show your muhabbat with your father in a different way. You show muhabbat with your sister in a different way. You show muhabbat with your children in a different way, and you show muhabbat with your wife in a different way. You show muhabbat with your husband in a different way. So parents, sometimes I think sometimes parents need to grow up as well and understand. Give these lovebirds, this newlywed couple, a chance, an opportunity to be with themselves. Be happy for them. Be happy for them. Respect for in-laws, mother-in-law, daughter. Like I said, I need one whole hour on that. In short, in a nutshell, all I'm going to say, if every mother-in-law looked at their daughter-in-law as like their own daughter, everything would be resolved. And every daughter-in-law looked after the mother-in-law, that this is my mother, then everything will be resolved. I'm just going to say these two words on this point, because I could need probably until Masjid al-Falah Saturday time, to be honest, if I had to talk about mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws. Alright. Yes, like I said, call each other good names. Like I said, love, darling, sweetheart. Like Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is called her, Hazrat Aisha and Humaira. Call each other lovely, lovely names. That's the way it's supposed to be. Buy presents for each other. You don't become Baidiwara. You don't become the slave of your wife if you buy your wife chocolates or perfumes or flowers or whatever you want to buy. It's good if you do it, and vice versa. The wife should buy the husband some gifts as well. Rasulullah said, Afshu salama bainakum. It's a general hadith that do salam between yourselves, give gifts between yourselves. It creates muhabbat, it creates love between yourselves. So this is something I encourage all couples to do. Always say sorry, like I've mentioned. If you make a mistake, say sorry and get on with it. If one party is angry, I encourage the other party to be quiet. To be quiet. So if the husband's very, very angry, sister, you stay quiet. Sister's very, very angry, wife's angry, husband, you stay quiet. When you're both on fire, then the word talaq comes out very, very easily. The word talaq. I did think about talking about talaq today, but it's already 1 a.m, so I think I'm going to leave talaq for another day. I'll give that a divorce, and talaq today, I'll talk about it another day, inshaAllah ta'ala. But what I'm saying is, in the heat of the moment, if she's angry, I advise brothers, my personal take is best is just to walk out the house for a bit and come down when things are calm, because that moment, if you say something, sometimes the women provoke you, women say things, women do things, and they say afterwards, what, I never meant it though. That's not the point. That's not the point. Sometimes women, sisters, I think you need to look at the way you talk as well. Rasulullah says, whoever looks after two things, I guarantee them Jannat. Whoever looks after their tongue and then looks after the private part, I guarantee them Jannat. Sisters, honestly, I'm not here to knock you or criticize you, but the truth of the matter is, sometimes the way you talk, I don't think you don't even think for a second. You break feelings, you break people's heart. Not to say men don't, but ladies' tongues are a lot more sharper than men's tongues. Believe me that. Believe me that. Ladies' tongues. And you sometimes you criticize your husband sometimes. Sometimes you put pressure on your husbands, the demands on your husbands, and then you expect the husbands to be brilliant. You can't do that, sisters. You got to understand. Give them time. Don't just nag at them. Nagging doesn't help your husband. Constant nagging at your husband. And look at somebody else's husband. I'm going to come to that point. You can't compare your wife to somebody else's wife. You can't compare your wife to your mother. You can't compare somebody to your sister, to somebody else's wife, and you can't compare your husband to somebody else's husband. Your husband is your husband and your wife is your wife. Stick to that. That's very, very important. That's very, very important. So going back to your sisters, your tongue, control your tongue, what you say to your husband. And then it's easy afterwards. You didn't forgive me, and why did you walk out the house for? I tell you why the guy walked out the house, because you were doing his nutting. That's why he walked out the house. So he had to go out the house to calm down, because if he stayed in the house, then there wouldn't have been a house death. I'd rather the husband walk out the house and calm down rather than staying in the house, and it's a full-blooded argument, and kids are sometimes involved in it as well. Kids see their parents fighting, and that's the last thing you want. So sisters, this is a special point for you as well. Please be careful how you talk. Sometimes you don't realize it, but sometimes you do such damage with your tongues that even you don't understand what you've done. Like I said, going on a holiday, we live now these days where husband and wife both have to work sometimes. And I think this is very important, before marriage, if the husband and wife are both going to work, because what happens, let's be honest, the husband comes back from work at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, he's tired and hungry. The missus comes back at 4, 5 o'clock, she's tired and hungry. Who's going to cook the food? Who's going to clean the house? Who's going to take responsibility of the kids? And this leads into problems. So before you get married, I think it's important to sort this out. I've known couples, because of this reason, because both are working, both are responsible, and nobody's cooking in the house, marriage has broke up. So what I'm saying, I think we live in a society time where everybody's tired, working very, very hard. I think at the end of the year, it's good to go for a little break somewhere. It could be local, it could be abroad, but do go on a holiday. It freshens the mind up a bit. It's good for the kids as well. Get out of the house, go out, enjoy yourself. Now and then go to restaurants as well. Go to takeaways. When you know the food is halal, there's no music in these restaurants as well. And go out and enjoy life. It's not about sitting at home all day long as well. It's about enjoying your life as well. So things. Okay, let me just go to these points again. One thing, no matter how bad the situation gets in the house, it's very, very important there's no hitting. In the days of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he found that some Sahaba were hitting their wives. He called the Sahaba together. He got on the minbar, and Rasul was raging with anger, and he said, "What is it I hear? The men are hitting their wives." And Rasulullah, and there's countless ahadith of Rasulullah, so when he mentions, "I'm the best with my family," and brothers and sisters, we must and brothers especially, try to be like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No matter how bad the situation gets, do not hit your wives. Crucial. Do not slap them. Do not punch them. Do not kick them. I don't think that's a manly thing, that you kick her just because she's physically weaker than you, that you kick her. Unfortunately, people, called it. I've heard recently, not just recently but over the years as well, that people use such abusive language to their wives, and vice versa as well. Women sometimes use horrible language to their husbands, which I don't agree. But men, because they're physically stronger than women, they take more advantage. They call her, I'm not going to use bad language here, but it's all sorts of language. They call her the worst of the lowest words. And some fathers have gone so far, they even call their daughters horrible words as well. I've even heard this far. How can a father call his daughters such nasty, horrible words? How can a husband call his wife in low words? For me, this is not the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you got an anger problem, then you need to learn the dua of anger. You got an anger problem, you need to get anger management. You need help and assistance. And because if you're going to go like this, it's going to mess your marriage up big time. It's going to mess your marriage up big time. Some ladies will get hit and will still stay in their marriage. Some ladies will say, "You touch me, I'm out this marriage." So simple as that. Remember that, folks, right? It's not a time where you can go around hitting your women. Spending quality time, especially after you're married, spend time together. It's very, very important. After marriage, if you go to your wife, yes, I've got good mates, so I've got to go out now with my mates. So I'll see you inshallah tomorrow. I'll see you tonight. So why did you get married for? If you were going to spend more time with your mates. Get me right. That doesn't mean that you spend 24/7 with your wife. What I'm trying to say, if you're going to live a life in such a way that you're going to give your mates a lot more time and your wife less time. Remember, your wife has left her family. She has left her parents. She has left her brothers and sisters, and she's moved into your house. But then you say, "Oh, but you can stay with your mother all day long. You can stay with my mother." But she's not there. She's not married to your mother. She's married to you, for goodness sake. So spend time with her. I tell you what, wife, what? You look after my mother. Do my mother's khidmah, because you're my wife and she's your mother-in-law. Listen, folks, if the woman does it out of her own heart, alhamdulillah will give her jazaa khair. But being the son, it is your duty to do khidmat of your mother more than your wife to do khidmat of your. In certain cultures are so strong, where the daughter-in-law has to cook for the whole household. She has to cook for the mother-in-law. She has to cook for the father-in-law. She has to cook for her brother-in-law. She has to cook for the whole khandan inside the house. Because if you don't, it's a bad thing. You know what? I think certain cultures do take it's pushing it too far. If she's not a nokar. You've got daughters in the house, but the daughters won't cook. The daughter will have to cook, right? She's not your nokar. If she does it, alhamdulillah. And I don't want to create families and problems in people's homes. But what I'm saying, I have known girls in families where they have to cook every single day for 5, 10, 15 people, and it's a norm. Where does it say you can do that? So, if you're going to spend time with your mates, and you're going to say to your wife, "You spend time with my mother, and you spend time with my brothers and sisters in the house, I'm going out with the mates," I'm sorry, folks, the marriage is going to break up. It's not going to last that long as well. It's not going to last at all. Ladies, I talked about nagging. Don't demand your husbands as well. Housework is very, very important. A guy comes in the house, he wants to see his house nice and clean. It's smelling fresh. It's been hoovered. It's been in the bathroom. Is washed, neat and tidy. If the house is a dump, he'll tell you once. He'll tell you twice. And I also encourage husbands as well. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do his own work. Try to do some work yourself as well. Very, very important. But sisters, try to keep your house clean. It's good for the environment, good for the house as well. Good names, call each other by good names, which I've mentioned already. Dress up for each other. this is a Ajib thing as well. Then the ladies go on a wedding day, they become Indian actresses, Bollywood stars. They wear all the latest makeup, all the mashallah new clothes, new styles. And when they come in the house, they're like tramps. They don't even put perfume on in the house. So then the guy goes, I don't get it. Why don't... So you're dressing up to go to a wedding, so all the other men say, mashallah, so-and-so's wife and daughter was looking so beautiful. But what about dressing up for your own husband? How about dressing up and putting some perfume, makeup, and look yourself presentable, so your husband doesn't have to look at any other women. Your husband doesn't look at... For him, in his eyes, you are the queen, and you are his wife, and you are the princess. You are everything to him. That is the most crucial thing. Likewise, brothers as well, you need to make yourself look presentable as well. When you go to your wife, and you haven't brushed your teeth, and you say, wife, or whatever you call your wife, something, whatever you call her, and you've got garlic breath, or you've been smoking, right? And your wife is obviously, she's going to be distracted from you. She's not going to be attracted to you. She's going to think, this guy doesn't even brush his teeth. If he can't even make an effort to brush his teeth, then brothers, seriously, you need to sort yourselves out. Seriously, you really need to sort yourselves out. So I would encourage you, brush your teeth, dress up nicely, make yourselves presentable for each other, so you two, in your eyes, your wife is the best thing for you, and the husband is the best thing for you. Give kids time. When you move on in life, Allah gives you kids. Allah may give everybody pious and lovely, beautiful children, inshallah. But try to spend time with your kids. Very, very important. Quality time, because if you as parents, your life is all about money, and your life is just about earning lots and having a good car and having a good house, and you don't spend time with your kids will go elsewhere. You will lose your kids, and your kids will go to advice to other people. They will get into bad company, and I've already talked about this on another occasion. Then you will lose your kids, and then later on you'll try to say, beti, listen to me, sorry, you've lost your kids. The tarbiyah starts from day one. Some people are very, very strict with their wife. They said, if the wife says, I want to go and see my mum and dad, no, you can't go and see your mum and dad. Why does he have to go and see your mum for? Why? My question is, why can't she go and see her mum? And why can't... Yes, if your in-laws are big troublemakers, maybe that's another thing, which I doubt they are, right? But then everybody has faults and weaknesses. Which people don't have, faults and weaknesses? Some people are very... Mashallah, some people... I look at it as my daughter. If my daughter was to get married and my son-in-law or my in-laws or her in-laws were to stop her from seeing me, I'd be very, very upset. So in the same way, if somebody's daughter comes in our house and she wants to see her mother and sister and brother, let her go by all means. Yes, not every single day. Set some time, set routines for it, so she can go to see her parents as well. In the household, to keep muhabbat and keep the house ticking along, mashwara is very, very important. To take opinions from each other. Buy settees, do it together. What colour you want to paint the house, do mashwara together. What carpet you want, do mashwara together. Which machine you want, I guess ladies are mainly responsible for that, really, to be honest. But mashwara and taking each other's opinion is very, very important. One of the last few points I've got, admit your mistakes. Very, very important. If you don't admit your mistakes, right, then you know what's going to happen? The grudge will continue, the hatred will continue. Admit it, I made a mistake, and put your hands up and say, I'm really, really sorry. Really, really sorry. As Ramadan is coming to an end, and I want to mention this point over here, our mothers, sisters have worked really, really hard. The savories they make, the food they make, the qurbani they make. I think, brothers, in Ramadan, I think we need to say a big jazakallah khair to our women folk, our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, for all the hard work they've done. And on Eid, I think you should, on the Eid occasion, we should buy them something very, very special indeed. Very, very special indeed. Lastly, it's written about, I've written here, one of the biggest problems today in society is the internet, right? And the websites you got. And somebody mentioned this today on the text in the afternoon about these porn websites, right? It's a big problem. It's a massive problem. Now, a man's problem is women, yes, and then you see naked women, semi-naked women on his websites, filthy, dirty, horrible, disgusting websites, and you know what? It messes people's marriages up. Brothers or sisters, if anybody has a problem, and it's becoming a common problem today, and you can't stop yourself looking at such websites, then what you need to do, you need to get some counseling. listening, go and see the ulama, and I mentioned it this afternoon as well. Go and see your imams. Go and listen, tell them you have a problem. Inshallah, they will not discuss your problem with anybody else. They will be more than happy to help you. They will be more than happy to help you and help and sort your problems out. I also said this afternoon, people who the same gender, who are attracted to each other, men and men, women and women, and Allah forgive them, Allah maaf them, but all I can say, you need to seek help as well. You need to seek help as well and sort your lives out, which is very important. Last couple of points, sorry, it's already 1:15. To understand the life of married, look at the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Look at the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at the life of Rasulullah. In that is a perfect example. His namaz, his roza, his zakat, his hajj, his family, his children, his finance, his business, his neighbors, with Muslims, with non-Muslims, everything is there in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's very important. One other point, ladies, don't say to your husband, you know what, so-and-so's wife is very clear, she's so beautiful, or she cooks very nice food. The moment you say that to your husband, he starts thinking about other women. So don't praise other women in front of your husband. Do not praise other women in front of your husband. Don't compare your wife, or don't say to your wife, why ain't you like your sister, or why ain't you like your mother, or why ain't you like somebody else's wife, she does this and she does that. Don't do that, because that'll mess your marriage up big time. And so ladies, try to understand one thing. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if anyone had to do sajda for anyone, I would tell the ladies to do sajda before their husbands. This tells you how much you need to respect your husbands. This tells you how much you need to respect your husbands. And obviously I did talk about hitting, also bad language. Don't use bad language in front of your wives as well. Somebody mentioned to me, Maulana, you mentioned about second wives as well. Well, to be honest, look, the thing about second wives is this: if somebody's keen on getting married second time, good luck to you. Tell us how it goes next year. Back on radio, we'd like to hear from you, second wives. On a serious note, if somebody wants to do it, it's halal, it's completely fine. I would say that is better than doing haram. Simple as that. Rather than flirting with somebody else, somebody doing gunai kabira with somebody else, somebody wants to do it, all I will say in this is that if you ever get married second time, good luck, because you're going to need it. Point number one. And point two is treat both of them fairly. If you're going to treat this younger one or the newer one in a good way, and you dump the old one onto one side, then you got to answer lots and lots to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah. Brothers and sisters, I had a lot more to say regarding talaq, and I've got a whole sheet on that, but I'm not going to mention it today because I don't have time at all. It's already 1:15. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it's been 1 hour. Right, we're going to go for the text message, Mr. Kali, yes. Mr. Moti. I've got a Jazakallah, folks. I hope you all enjoyed that. It was very, very beneficial. We'll continue till around 25 minutes until 20 to 2, inshallah ta'ala. And then we'll call it a day, inshallah. And my intention was to talk on knowledge tomorrow, on the Jummah in the afternoon, but I'm going to continue with this, marriage and divorce, tomorrow, because I wanted to talk about divorce as well, but I will talk about divorce. So tomorrow's bayan in the Jummah from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock is not going to be about knowledge. I've changed it. It's going to be about divorce and the harms and the effects of it in our society, inshallah ta'ala. Here's a question. My wife lied to me prior to us getting married about her past. She admitted it. Everything to me today. What should I do? I think try to forgive her and move on. Try to forgive her and move on. That is the best way. If you can, that'd be great. So when I'm listening to this with my dad, he said it's not just the daughter who should learn how to cook, the son should too. Nowhere in Islam does it say women. This opinion again. If this is the mentality, this is the problem. If this is the mentality fathers have, that you should say your sons should how to cook, okay, fine. Then who's gonna, you know what, then you might as well not get your daughter not married. You might as well leave her at home. This is the problem from day one. The parents support the daughters and say, beta, don't worry, yes, sons should cook. And I did mention it, Nabi Sallallahu did housework, but does he ever say Rasul ever cooked food? Have you ever read Nabi Sallallahu ever cooked food? So you know, this father who's giving his daughter's advice, I really think you need to think twice, because you know what, your daughter's marriage won't last at all. And sometimes use a bit of common sense, for goodness sake. The husband should say, come on, let's cook. The Prophet used to do housework. I did mention that. Nabi Sallallahu did housework. And I'm saying husband should help out. But if you're going to go into the marriage with this mentality that my husband's going to cook for me, then you can forget about it, seriously.
You'll make a meal.
Don't make a meal of it. Salam, Maulana, can I ask Allah to let me marry a specific girl? Yes, you can. No harm with that at all. Allahu Akbar. Salam, can you please say the wedding dua and remind me? Okay, I'll do that later on, inshallah ta'ala. said, I'm just listening to your bayan on the wedding. I've been on a wedding where I have been to weddings where there are ladies in parallel having photos taken. Where is the iman then? Yes, it's true. I did mention that. I said many people's iman on the wedding days, and the iman becomes very, very weak, unfortunately. I mentioned that. But remember, this lady in parda and this man in beard, Maulana Khalil is not your role model. Your role model is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if you see faults and you see them doing guna, it doesn't justify that you can do it as well. You forgot to memons. No, I don't understand that. Okay.
When you're talking about surtis and barutis, don't worry, even memons and khatris even days. Okay. Are you happy? Whoever.
Extremely. Maulana, please give us advice about women trying to dominate the husband. Even alims have this mentality that I am a learned. They expect the husband to be Buzruk. Your husband's okay and alim. Yes. Look, respect each other. Try not to be dominant over each other. Try to understand each other. If you're going to live in a marriage where you think you're going to do this for me and I'm going to do this for you, or you have to do this, then it's not going to work. Learn about how to look after the other party, and that should make the marriage work, inshallah. So salam, sometimes it's parents who get upset if you want a simple wedding. I know, and that's what I'm saying. Parents need to understand that as well. Somebody's wrote lol. I'm not sure what that was for. Why have you told the men to learn to say sorry? Don't the ladies need to learn to... I'm a woman texting, by the way. Yes, ladies should say sorry. And I did talk about... Mr. Moti.
You know, Sheikh, generally speaking, I know you said that men... and we should say sorry to our wife, you know. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. I'm with that whoever texts that, you know. Sometimes you see, Sheikh, when you are in an argument with your wife, right?
Go on.
You start arguing, blah 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 blah, and then you say, "Look, dear, I'm sorry." You see, I was right. That's why you have to say sorry.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. You can't win.
You can't win.
Exactly. That's just my point. So just say sorry and say I can't win.
So even before you start the argument, just say sorry.
Yeah, and I can't win.
Yeah.
Can you advise with daughter-in-laws made to do things that the in-law wants her to do every single day? I did mention that as well, and I don't agree with that at all, and I mentioned that earlier as well. So as well, I'll put this bayan on the FMO podcast, and when will your CDs be out? After Ramadan, inshallah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So as Maulana Khalil, mashallah, brilliant bayan. I'm learning an early age from brother Khalil. Jazakallah, brother Khalil. Amazing bayan as always, mashallah. I'm getting married this year. Please make dua for me. Allah make it easy for you. In a nice way, not in a bad way. Allah make it easy for you. How should a dad treat his daughter? With full respect. And the daughter should also treat the father with full respect. How should a dad treat his daughter? That's come again. Please, could you let us know if this show is recorded? You touched the topic very well, Jazakallah. I did try to cover. There's so much to talk about. There's so much, honestly. So as Maulana, I'm blind. When I pray, my sajda is never in the same place. I do try to do it in the right place. Will your namaz be still count? Yes, it will count. And Allah make it easy for you, my brother or my sister. Maulana, you seem to be talking from experience. Lol. Yes, experience helps. Brilliant. Would you have any advice on Muslim girl getting married and moving to non-Muslim home to live with in-laws? Please do more shows like this. Email me on info@rahmamercy.org.uk and I'll give you some advice on that, inshallah. info@rahmamercy.org.uk. We're not taking any calls at the moment. A very entertaining and beneficial bayan. Jazakallah khairan. Message has come in. How should the dad treat his daughter with respect? We've been through that as well. How should the dad come again? Right. So which book can I get from marriage? It's called Ashraf's Blessings. Ashraf's Blessings. Fantastic kitab. Okay, so the same message is repeating itself on over again. Once been fixed, how soon should you nikah be? Try to make it as soon as possible. This fact that you get nikah done or you get engaged, and then after getting engaged, if you're talking to each other, I don't agree with it at all. Yes, nikah done and the rukhsati later, I can live with that, no problem at all. How should the dad treat his daughter? Has come again for the 50th time. Too many messages. Maulana, don't worry, I think only the bitter women are texting in. Jazakallah, how sweet of you. How should the dad treat his daughter? Is coming again. Easy, folks, on the text, I can't live with it. What is the ideal Muslim wedding? I've already explained that. Simple and easy, without any pressure on yourselves. Salams want to know, me and a girl who want to get married, but her parents said no. What should I do? Tell her parents to say yes. Speak to somebody about it. Keep on trying. Don't give up hope, inshaAllah ta'ala. Every time I say sorry, my wife, she hits me. Then don't say sorry.
Tell her, dear darling, before I say kiss me.
It is so important to communicate to each other, otherwise things just don't work. Yes, communication, and don't hide secrets from each other. Don't hide things. I think it's important to be honest and open with each other. But if a woman expects men to cook, then men should expect women to pay bills, put up with second marriages. Agreed. And I'm not making a mean of it. So now, give me advice about the men not cleaning and taking part in household chores. It ain't fair, especially when he's on. Yes, I agree. If the guy's sitting on his, if a guy's sitting at home all day long and he's not working, then he should contribute.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm talking if some guy's working all day long, house, and then he expects him to work. That's not right. That's not right.
Some people, when they are unemployed, this, when you go, you ask them, "Bhai, tum su karo cho?" Again, street inspector cho.
And he's
walking up and down the street. Yeah, you should be at home working, man.
Yeah. Can you highlight how parents would let a child get married if they want to, because they say they want to finish uni first? I don't think uni is an excuse and a reason. I think even when important is the most is your iman is the most important thing. Even I know people who have been studying and they've got married while they were studying. Absolutely go for it. And if you say it comes in the way, I don't agree with that. What if we apologize and the husband doesn't accept it, saying sorry doesn't change anything? Well, you get some people who accept apology straight away. Some people need a bit more time, so give them time. But people, once somebody says sorry to you, try to accept their apology. If you're an alim, would it be advisable to only marry an alima and vice versa? No, not necessarily. Yes, common ground is important, similarities are nice, but it doesn't mean if you're an alim, you only have to marry an alima, and if you're an alima, you only have to marry an alim. It's like you said, a doctor can only a male doctor can only marry a female doctor, or dentist can marry a female doctor, an optician can marry only a female optician, so they can see what they're doing. In life.
Like Mr. Kali says, it's always good to have make it an eye-opener.
The child wants to do nikah. Don't get it. Maybe it's connected with another message. What is a reasonable age for someone to get married? Everybody's different. You can't put a specific age. Once you're mature enough, old enough, go for it, inshallah. Smoking seems to be a cause of a lot of arguments. When a man is dependent on this, what can a wife do? I don't know really. To try to get a brother out of smoking. It's a tough one to be. There's no smoke without fire, but I would say try the best the husband to give up smoking, to be absolutely honest. Because smokers do stink a lot as well. They really
I know.
Do.
Rolf, get out.
Yeah. Maulana, what's your thoughts on interfering in-laws? Please don't interfere. What else can I say? So, Salam, is this show recorded? It is recorded. Maulana, can we kiss our father-in-law's hand on Eid day? I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all, as long as your father is not a dodgy guy, and that's the most important thing. My dad left my mum for a white woman and not left her with a talaq, just left with no reason, because she was always ill. He used it as an excuse to get away, just wanted to know the masla. It's not very nice, not very good, unfortunately. It's a shame. Maulana, love listening to you on the radio, always learn something new. Jazakallah khair. Salams, where would I be on a situation with my close family member passed away on a close wedding in in-laws? I think, could you send me a email on info@rahmamercy.org.uk, then I can answer that masla, inshallah. Salams, bayan was really good, jazakallah khairan. Sorry, so many messages coming in. Top class bayan as always from you, Maulana Khalil. On point, very interesting. May Allah on point and very interesting. May Allah reward you lots. We need more of you on the radio. Ha. Jazakallah. Okay. Ha. I'm a Guji girl. I want to get married to a Paki boy. I have been told my parents yet we don't want to do it. Okay. info@rahmamercy.org.uk, please, because we've got so many messages. MashaAllah, very beneficial bayan. Just love your bayans. Jazakallah khair. Just love your text messages as well. Good bayans, topics they needed to be talked about. Jazakallah khairan. The talk was very inspirational. Jazakallah. My mom actually made me sit and listen to it. I'm looking forward to the continuation of this tomorrow. Is there any way we can listen to you on previous bayans? The podcast is nearly ready. I've been told 8 of them are ready. There's more to follow. Salams. There are men out there, they get married for the money. That's wrong. Money shouldn't be priority. Deen should be priority. Alhamdulillah, when I learned to put tawakkul in Allah, everything became easy. Allah accept. Salams, what shall I do if my sister's husband has walked out and does not come back? What shall I do if my sister's husband has walked out and does not come back? So you need to talk to the family and do something to make him come back, inshallah ta'ala. Salam, do you know any of Islamic couple counseling? Yes, it's called shadi.com. Just joking. Or any website. I'm sure, I don't know, I really don't know, but there must be some decent ones. Mr. Moti?
Well, we had said last year, but sorry again, apologies. We will be starting one anyway. It won't be .com.
Yes, KhalilShadi.com. Allah has given me a wonderful husband, mashallah. Only problem is he snores a lot.
Put a peg on his nose.
Put a peg on his nose. What about if your mom and dad don't accept the person you want to marry? It depends why don't they accept him. Sometimes they have a valid reason, sometimes they don't have a valid reason. So every case is different, honestly. Salam's really missed Uncle Moti, mashallah. Great to hear him again, Mr. Jazakallah. He's now become, mashallah, really chuffed and bigger than what he was. So if a boy gets married to a girl without a nikah, how do we encourage them to do nikah? They need to do nikah ASAP because they're living in sin all the time. Is gunai kabira. Is info at rahmamercy.org.uk. Sorry, what's my email? Info at rahmamercy.org.uk, not .com.
No, it's .org.
Yeah, .org.uk.
Yeah, .uk.
Yeah, that's what I said. You said just .org, Mr. Moti. Salams, well, I think you're very tired now. All your words are coming out wrong. Lol. Huh? They're coming out right. Astaghfirullah, tawbah, I should do tawbah for saying that. Salams, what shall I do if my husband won't give me a divorce but I want one? He keeps on saying he don't want to divorce. Why does he want to divorce? Or why do you want to divorce, sister? It's very hard to comment until you don't know the situation behind this whole thing. Salams, Maulana, I really like this guy, but I don't know how to tell my parents. I don't want to go do it the wrong way. I think look for the moment, right time, right place, and then try to do it, inshallah.
I think you should have the courage, because if you are going to stay like that without your parents knowing, you yourself are hurting yourself. So it's just take the courage, sit with them. This is a very blessed month. Talk to them.
My wife talks to other males. What can I do? You need to tell her that you don't like it, you're not happy with it, and she needs to learn. And obviously that triggers things off in marriage as well. If your wife's going to talk to any old Tom, Dick and Harry, then that's not going to help the marriage at all. Salam's wicked bayan. Me and my husband listening together and we can relate to your bayans. However, whenever we do mashwara, we still end up arguing.
Typical.
Just say sorry. Salams, tell people that divorce ain't a game. It's true, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow, inshallah. Divorce 4 to 5 tomorrow. Women must not moan about lack of help from the men, as the children are only young for a few years and they get older. Women have less, but men have to provide for his wife all his life. That's true. I agree with you. Men help out, but if like I said, the first message was so off-putting to say, the men should learn how to cook. Then what's your daughter going there for? Alright, you don't want to get your daughter married, then don't get your daughter married, man. What's wrong with some people, man? Salams, I think people paint false pictures of themselves before marriage, and then people end up starting a marriage with a lie. People have to be clear before marriage, including the family of the bride group. Absolutely agree with you.
100%.
Wholeheartedly. Where can I listen to this bayan? It'll be on FMO podcast after Ramadan, and also in the Rahma office on CD format, inshallah. The woman does all the work, and the man and the wife, then when wife is saying she asks hubby to buy takeaway, husband getting cross all the time. No, that's not right as well. Husband should understand women cook, work very hard. Men should, I think many couples usually on the weekends or Friday, Saturday, they have takeaways as well, and they should do that. And men should understand woman is not a slave. Treat her with respect in the house as well. When you say sorry, you should mean it, not just keep saying it because you know you can get away with it and take advantage because the other forgive. Yep, I agree with you. I don't know how we're going to do this message. It's already 1:30 and we've only reached the message at 1:26 yet. Allahu Akbar. Some mad bayan. Man, wicked, very top. Jazakallah for being mad. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sunnah is best. Getting married early stops from many gunas, and you adapt to a hubby's way of life better. Jazakallah. True, beshak. The earlier the better. Salams, I plan inshallah before marriage not to speak unnecessarily to my spouse before nikah. Some people have said that I will be unable to get to know the person. That's nonsense. Istikhara is something I will definitely do, but some people do the istikhara and still end up divorce. Please advise. Istikhara, some people are already in love and they do istikhara, so the istikhara also obviously comes out, yes, and that's not a proper istikhara. And so if it happens, a divorce happens, then I think that's their mistake before istikhara. What you're doing, sister, is absolutely fine. Don't talk. Inshallah, you've got your whole life to talk, and you will get to know your husband, inshallah ta'ala. Don't you worry about that. Salams, I'm thinking of getting a wife. Number 2, what do you think? Please advise. Do it and let us know what happens next year. And shows your photo before and shows you after. Photo after. Tell us how it goes. Fashallah, good talk. What do you recommend for a person who wishing to marry a perfectly pious person, but the parents say no with no valid reason, only culture? I mentioned that earlier. I think parents are, sometimes could be very ziddy as well, and they're not right. Shadi.com, lol. What is the masla about a wife going to Maulana non-mahram for taweez so that he can fully under her control? It's like going for a medication. You go to a doctor, your wife goes to a doctor, your wife goes to a Maulana. The best thing is to go with him as a mahram then. Yeah. If you're not comfortable, the husband should go together and get it done, inshallah. I love my wifey. Shout out to her. Her name is Aisha, playing Candy Crush right now. Playing Candy Crush. Is that a song?
No, it's something on this iPod.
Alright, please mention also social media websites and people checking people out on is it Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. True, yeah. This is I don't like this at all.
Sheikh, you know Facebook?
Yeah.
I know Gujarati name for it.
What's that?
Gamni Panchat.
Correct, Mr. Moti. Sadaqta. Maulana Khalil, Jazakallah for the bayan. You should do bayan every day. It's very interesting. My marriage. Salam. A husband keeps drugs under his pillows and hides them from his wife. Please state. I didn't say this is going to be a problem, is it? We're going to take salams. Are you coming back next year to do more shows? Love your shows. Keep up the good work. Yeah, inshallah, I hope to be back next year as well. Allah make us live that long. Salams. I am a Gujarati girl. I want to get married to an Arab in Dubai. My parents don't agree because of the distance. What should I do? Info at rahmamercy.org.uk. By the way, what does that say? Assalamu alaikum, by the way. So my friend Umar Makadam is looking for a yes, bichara, he looks lost at Masjid al-Bukhari. My dad said I have to marry only in the family. I don't agree with that. Family is okay, but to make a condition only in the family, I don't. There's no such thing. Maulana Khalil, chat is stall outside, quick way and one way and one tomorrow. My wives can buy. Forget this. This is advertising something else. How many times can women accept apologies? Should men not learn what hurt their partners? And yes, smoking does smell, and I encourage all men to stop. Yes. You don't think sorry as an all engagements are allowed in Islam? Mangni, once you find somebody fixed up, you don't have to make a whole special program for it. Salam, Jazakallah for the advice. Keep it up, Jazakallah. Guys, it's got 6 minutes left and there's 50 million messages to read out yet. I remember the last Maulana, you were going to organize a marriage. Yes, I was going to organize a marriage counseling. Honestly, I did say it, but I never got around to it because I've been so busy with Rahman Masjid. But make dua, inshallah, that I want to start you up this year. Salams. I really like this guy, but I'm only 18. I feel too young to tell my parents. Please help. Tell your parents anyway, because eventually you have to tell your parents, so you might as well tell them now. Salams, is it okay to marry an atheist? No, you cannot marry an atheist. Oh my God, that'd be really bad. My husband is a nice guy, very loving, caring, but he has a very bad weed addict due to wrong company. What can I do? You need to get him out of the company ASAP.
You need to weed him out.
Yeah, unweed him. I meant your words are getting muddled up. Jazakallah khair. So I forgive you now once again. A very long email. There's a problem. Could you please somebody sent me a very long email. It says, Mullah, there's a problem. I find that people with illness. Okay, can you info rahmanmasjid.org.uk. But if I don't answer your emails now, please, because I'll be inundated with emails after Ramadan, inshallah. Maulana, everything comes down to recognize Allah. If we have the fear of Allah, we will treat people, whoever, husband, wife, family, in-laws, with respect. Absolutely true. And the awareness of Islam. That's what I'm saying. You need to tell people what is marriage before they get married. Salams, are you going to come on again at night, another day, and what day would that be? I don't think I'm coming on night. Maybe on the night of Rahman Masjid's appeal day, because we usually come back at night. So I'll let you know, inshallah. Salams, bought my husband a motorbike for a gift, so you can't get a better than that, just to prove being thankful. Now, I'm not sure what your intention is on the motorbike. I'm only joking. In a haram relationship, I want to leave her for the sake of Allah. What shall I do? She don't let me leave. Tell her I'm leaving you. And don't answer her phone calls and her text messages. You'll be fine, inshallah. It'll be hard initially, but stay strong and stay firm and tell her what we're doing is wrong, and either get married to her or either stop it. My father is full of pride, and when a right is suggests, he gets offended. What to do? On another day, please. Salams, my friend Umar. Okay, it's 1:36. I don't know. It's getting. Salams, you said your bayan is good to find somebody with somebody in common, but for me and my husband are completely opposites, and opposites attracts. We've been married for 18 years. I mean, yeah, that's fine. I'm not saying you can't get married to somebody opposite. You should try it. It's great.
But Sheikh,
makes it more spicy,
Sheikh,
I think.
But it took 18 years to find this one out.
No. My wife says that you should forgive and forget, and yes, I said that as well. Salams, what shall we do if there is no sign in istikhara? Sign, it depends on how you feel in the morning, not necessarily any kind of dream. Great bayan, Maulana, you never fail to educate us. Please, can you also make these bayans on Iqra channel, inshallah ta'ala. Talking about Iqra channel, I could be starting my own program on Iqra TV after Ramadan, inshallah, once a month. We're working on that at the moment, so we'll let you know. Can you do a talk on how sisters should respect the elder brothers? Sisters, respect your elder brothers. Sanas Maulana, can you do a talk on house? Okay, Allah.
And elder brothers, you should start respecting your little sisters.
Correct. Folks, please stop your messages. Now there's too much, I can't get through them all. There's around 6 million left yet, and I've only done 70 million already. This message is coming 25 million times already. Gosh, this is coming 28 million times now. My goodness.
They just keep repeating shit.
Yeah, they
delete that same message.
Okay. I want you to know if your father-in-law can be your mahram. Like, can he break your wudu, or can he? As far as the father-in-law is your mahram, but speak to Mufti Sahib just to be sure. Can you do a talk on house? Okay, this has come 75 million times now. 85 million times. What do you call a man without a woman? Useless. Was that meant to be a joke? Alright, fine. Lol, bruv, you're the best. Jazakallah, bruv, you're the best as well. Dear, oh dear. I love my hubby Imran too. He's listening to FMO Radio with me. With me. Make dua, we lead a good life together. Ameen. Imran and wife, Allah give you lots of happiness and joy in your life. Salams. If a husband only prays 8 rakats tarawih and then instructs his wife to do the wrong things against the Sharia, 8 rakats is okay, forget that. But generally, if a man tells his wife to go against Sharia, she shouldn't listen to him, but she should tell him in a nice way. Okay. And men, generally, you shouldn't tell your women to do things against Sharia. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.